Hey, what's going on? Nazim here. In this video, I'm going to talk about what to do if your funnel or your marketing strategy suddenly decides to go all haywire and stops basically producing leads, prospect, and sales for you in your business. It happens a lot, and it happens to a lot of businesses. One day, your funnel and your marketing strategy, your business is great. You're dreaming about maybe hitting your first 100K or 1 million month, and then all of a sudden, it feels like all hell breaks loose and nothing is working. And here you are, sort of like you don't even know where it came from, what hit you, what's the problem, where do you start fixing or looking for a solution, and you basically go all desperate on the internet, start investing in all sorts of gurus that promise you a lot but deliver nothing, and that's it. Your business is screwed. So again, as you know, I've been working for online businesses for the last 7 years, and I've seen a lot of cases like that. I've seen even companies that would produce 500, 600K per month, USD, Euro, would literally go from that to like 50K a month, or even worse than that, would go into negative, into net losses. And they would, again, the business owner would just melt down because one day they were producing and maybe setting aside 200, 300 grand per month in pure cash, and then the next day they realize that they're on a run rate to burn through $100,000 because again, maybe the company overhead, they have 20 employees, they are running ads, heavily investing in ads, like 100 to 100 grand a month, that are suddenly not producing anything, producing jack squat. And suddenly, like, this big business, it's high stakes but high reward, but it's also high losses. You go from generating 250K profit, not just profit, but setting aside, to burning 200K per month. So it's kind of crazy and very unpleasant. But thankfully, in this video, I will explain you what might be happening in your business and how you can fix that. I already helped a lot of businesses fix this very specific issue in their businesses, and the solution is actually not that complicated. You just have to be very clear-headed about it and very clean and diligent about your execution with it. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, so the way I'd like to script out this video is not by saying 4 tips, but I'm actually gonna start this video by pointing at 3 biggest mistakes that business owners do that actually contribute or lead them to such a problem, or basically keep you spiraling down this loop of negative net losses, of basically shit not working in your business, and basically how to solve these 3 mistakes and get yourself out of this negative spiral is what I'm going to talk about. So mistake number 1 and solution number 1 is very simple, and guys, I beg you bear with me. I'll get a bit more complicated with the other solutions, but mistake number 1 is simply not being patient enough. And I can't stress this actually out enough, because a lot of times, especially back in my ads management days, when I was actually running these ads, this was literally the biggest annoyance and the bane of my existence, because I would run literally ads for 5-6 big internet marketing names, and they were all spending like $2,000-$3,000 a day, or 100K, or even more than that per month each. And obviously stakes are high, and a lot of times, honestly, I would even say like once every 5-6 weeks, 1 week was completely garbage, right? And this is when business owners would start freaking out, right? Most business owners, maybe even including yourself, you don't think, oh my God, like this whole thing generally works on a month-by-month basis, and I'm making like 100 to 300, like this basic thing makes me an awesome living. When things things start hitting the fan, you're thinking, oh my God, this week ads are not working as well, and I just lost 15 grand or 20 grand. But snap out of this thinking, right? Look at the big picture, look at the actual monthly results, and kind of like you'll reassure yourself that this thing in the long term is working pretty well. Maybe it's not working this 1 week or 2 weeks, but again, one of the bigger mistakes, especially with ads, I can talk a lot to my experience with ads. A lot of times it just comes down to not being patient enough. So if you weather out the storm, sure, you can like in that week you can use that time to look more into the ad account or your funnels and try to maybe determine the breaking points, which I'm going to talk about, the specific KPIs you need to look out for. But don't make any drastic decisions like changing things. Just be patient. So that's number one. And actually, my number one is a perfect segue to number two. And problem number two is people start testing because they're not patient and because their head is on fire and because they can't see the big picture. People start testing everything at the same time. They look at their marketing strategy and they say, oh my God, how could I have been blind so much to the fact that the webinar is old? Like a webinar goes old or goes from being good to bad from one week to another, right? It doesn't happen like that. Or they say, oh my God, these ads suck, or my ads manager sucks, or whatever, right? My creative suck. Like I'll go pay $3,000 to this amazing photographer to take new pictures of me, all while not realizing that things don't go from great to horrible in 1 week, not even in 1 month, unless there's been like super massive shift in the industry. It's a gradual process. Like I've seen sort of like the ratings like that as well, where literally ad account goes from great in January to bad in July, and then kind of it makes sense. And you look at the KPIs, which actually that's about point number 3 I'm about to get in here, but you look at KPIs and it's a slow decline, or just generally, or it can be a fast decline, but it's not like it's not like a razor tooth dynamic where it goes completely down. Yeah. So basically, don't let your hair get caught on fire and don't try to start testing all the things at the same time. You need to be very methodical in your approach and you need to test bang one thing at a time. Okay. So with that in mind, and this is a good segue to mistake number 3. So mistake number 3, and probably the most technical or most value you think you'll get out of this video, although the first 2 reasons will probably solve your problems 60-70% times. Mistake number 3 is tracking everything and using tracking for methodical testing for when things go bad. So what I really mean by that is, because you don't want to start testing everything at a time, because that's gonna make things worse. And this is what your problem or the root of the problem needs, that you start testing everything and then you basically imagine that you have a puzzle in front of you and like this one detail is not fitting and you just like destroy the whole thing, and that one little hole that won't just get sealed, that with that one puzzle is laughing his ass off, because yes, you literally just destroyed all paths, all sort of like kind of remaining clue to figuring out this one little problem by just creating an even bigger mess, right? I'm not sure why I'm talking about the puzzle, as the puzzle was a living and breathing thing. Maybe it's something from my childhood, but you get the point, right? So definitely don't do that. And to test one thing at a time, you need to be methodical in your approach. And to be methodical in your approach, you need to be data-based. And data is numbers. So this is why you need to track your numbers on a daily basis, through thick and skin, on the good day and on the bad day, especially on the good day, right? There's, ask any rich person. He says the secret to being rich or being wealthy or being successful is, I think, like thinking affluently when you're poor, and thinking like actually having the preservation mindset, or being humble, let's say, when you're rich. So I guess what I'm getting at is tracking is not something that you do when things go bad. This is something you do all the time, right? And when things go good, it's very easy to slip off or to relax and be lazy. But this is the time when you should be especially alert and aware, because Trust me, no matter how good your business is doing right now, the bad times are coming. They always come. Economics, history, societies, businesses, they work in these kinds of trends, right? And if you do your due diligence, this turbulence, you can basically let this turbulence not be as big, right? So you literally go from this maybe to this, which is great, right? There's not much shifting produced or experienced in your business. That's great, right? So your goal with tracking should be all the time should be preparing for that sort of like a downward spiral. And if you do your due diligence, you will know what caused that downward spiral, and you'll fix the problem, and then that in of itself will sort of like diminish the bad times or the turbulence in your business. So now that you understand how to track your stuff, by the way, I'm going to include a very simple tracking sheet below this video, or you can always go to clientsconversion.com and grab it there, or you can always just add me on Facebook and write me on Facebook. If you can't gain access, I will give it to you. A very simple tracking sheet that will help you track your most vital vials or KPIs in your business, and you should again track it on a daily basis. So now that I stressed out the sheer importance of tracking, let's actually talk about these things you need to track. So in case it's not a problem of patience and something is really technically off in your business, you need to look at 3 components, or like it can go off in 3 places. And again, you don't start like messing up with the other 2 or where it just might be one of the departments, because again you will erase the 2 things that work well. Okay, so the 3 parts are these: front-end lead acquisition, funnel conversion rate, sales conversion rate. All right, so what I really mean by all these 3: front-end lead acquisition is basically the cost per lead you're getting with your ads. What this means is, it doesn't matter what funnel you're running and however you derive traffic. Maybe you're just spamming people on Facebook to go check out your VSL, you're running YouTube ads, Google ads, Pinterest ads, whatever, Facebook ads. But front-end lead acquisition is basically the price that you pay in terms of money or energy or time or human resources to get an opt-in in your business. And really what an opt-in is basically someone opting in to watch a value video from you, or to consume a comprehensive piece of content about you, your skills, your services, and your company that will basically, and this piece of content is supposed to make them decide to book a call with you, right? I'm going to assume that you don't just send them to your call booking page right away, right? You either send them first to your Facebook group or to your webinar, or to your you make them subscribe to your YouTube page, whatever that conversion mechanism is, whatever that content piece is that will make them, that will turn them from a cold prospect to a warm prospect, right? Whatever that thing is basically front-end lead acquisition is concerned with that. And the first thing you need to check for is your front-end lead acquisition costs. And the 2 KPIs I have here, the 2 KPIs you need to control is in case you're running ads, is your ads vials. And what I really mean by that is CTR, CPC, CPM. And if those are off, you 99.9% need to simply update your ad creatives. I actually consulted a client, I think about a couple of months ago. They were in the health industry, like health coaching, fitness coaching industry. And by simply rolling out a new set of ad creatives, they reduced their CPMs and their cost per click, because the ads were so great, people loved them, and social media algorithm, YouTube specifically, rewarded them with better numbers. So that's that. Part number 2 for improving your front-end lead acquisition is your landing page conversion rate. So again, you're probably, before people get to watch a value piece of content from you, you send them to a page where they leave their phone number or email or name or other contact details, so then maybe you can remarket to them in the future. But basically the conversion of that page that asks them for their personal information, if you improve that by even slightest bit, it actually has an amplifying effect on your entire marketing. I remember from back in the day, maybe like 4 years ago, like one of my best case studies was when I came into this company. I think they were spending like $20,000 or something like that per month, and they were making like 60, 70K back. And I helped them make 100K back by simply improving the landing page conversion rate for 15 to 25 or 30%. Well, not 30, 25%, because again, for the 20K or something, 30K they were spending, they immediately got 60% more leads because the landing page conversion rate went up. And since they got 60% more leads, they got 60% more sales calls, they got 60% more sales, cash collected, right? So it has an amplifying effect. I think who says that the small hinges that swing big doors? I think it was Ralph Burns or someone else who said, one of the internet marketing pros who said this, and it really stuck with me. So there's that, right? So if it's front lead acquisition, right, you have to look at just one number, cost per lead. What is it costing you to generate a lead? And if all other vials in your if all the other two vials are good and it's just front lead acquisition, then you need to just like if, for example, your sales rate or your webinar conversion rate hasn't changed, which I'll talk about in a minute, you need to you just leave this alone. Don't touch these at all, right? No drastic changes here. Improve your ads and improve your landing page conversion rate. So now moving on to the funnel conversion rate, and actually it's funny, it's really hilarious how most business owners, they jump into updating their webinars right away. I don't know why. I don't know what is it, this craze about webinars and updating them. Instead of like maybe talking to their sales team about lead quality or updating their socials or updating their ads, they immediately decide that it's a webinar conversion rate issue. And it's very easy to check for the webinar conversion rate. If basically when times were good, you were spending the same amount, getting the same amount of leads, but now you're booking less calls, that's 99.9%. That's because your actual funnel conversion rate has dropped down. Like you're feeding this machine the same amount of leads, but it's spitting out fewer potential clients. So one actual caveat to this before I'll talk about updating your webinar, one caveat to this and like one thing you need to be aware of, and this is why I ask you to be patient. Sometimes you will see a drop in your funnel conversion rate, but that's not because the webinar all of a sudden become crap, right? You have to understand that your webinar doesn't go from a 15% conversion rate, a webinar or whatever, right? You might have, or your Facebook group or whatever, doesn't go from converting 15% of people to converting now 7 or 5 from 1 week to another. Maybe not even, it's probably not going to be even 1 month. It'll probably take a gradual decline. It'll be at least 2-3 months that will be happening. So a lot of times the reason for this is the ads algorithm. It just somehow, don't ask me how like I've spent over $10-15 million on Facebook, YouTube, Google in aggregate, and I still don't know how this works, but it's just my sixth sense that sometimes social media algorithms just feed you crap leads, and then all of a sudden they stop being stupid and give you the good leads again, right? So sometimes this is why you just need to weather the storm. And I've actually had quite a few clients where I urged them to not change anything because it was, from my experience with this account and others, just an algorithm thing, but they would change it, and then even when the algorithm snapped back, this current version of the webinar was crap, and you get the point. So, but again, if you wait for at least a week or two, I would say wait for a good 2 weeks, and it doesn't change in the slightest bit. Yeah, I guess improve your VSL, which again, I'm not a copywriter, and there are a lot of resources you can find on updating your VSL, but a lot of times, what I mean by VSL is a video sales letter. Again, it can be any sort of content you provide or you give to your leads to nurture them. the most important thing that the biggest factor that you can improve in your funnel is really your USP, your unique sales proposition. If that's good and if that's tightened up, it's probably not about that one or two things or whatever, or even the script of how you say things. It's probably that you're either not playing enough into their primal instincts of fear or wishing for success, or it's your unique sales proposition. Your offer is not enticing enough, right? Like whatever pain point you're trying to solve with whatever solution you have, and like however you frame that is just off, right? I can talk about that a little bit more in other videos, but for now I'll just leave it at that. Now, point number 3 is, last but not the least, is the sales conversion rates. And if your leads are good, if your calls booked are good, and you're getting simply fewer sales, it's most likely it's your sales team. And a couple of solutions I might have for you here. Again, I'm not a sales coach, but I've worked with a lot of great sales managers. I have done sales for as long, like since establishing my own company. I've sold way over $1 million in consulting fees of my own. So a couple of things I can tell you about sales is, number one, you need to actually, I'll tell you geeky kind of sort of like the nooks and cranny kind of like little things you can switch in your sales, or you need to look out for that can help you. So number one is you need to actually a lot of times I see, and it happens a lot with scheduling apps, and I think I'll actually record a separate video on this, but a lot of times you have a couple of sales reps, and one or two always outperform the rest, and your goal needs to be to keep feeding the bulk of your leads to these rock stars, that they keep up with their momentum and they're closing and banging and all is great, and then you feed the rest to the other sales reps that are yet to prove themselves. And sometimes in the call scheduling applications, there's this whatever error that people who are not good at sales or closing, people who don't have good closing rates, suddenly start getting more leads than they deserve in a way. So you need to look out for that call distribution amongst sales agents, and you want to, I would say, feed a good 60-70% of your leads so that one or two salespeople that are closing great. Mark my word. Now, number 2 is individual sales stats. Obviously, you want to track the stats of your salespeople. Sometimes I would literally see companies produce not $500,000 and $400,000, and obviously the business owner would just melt down that they missed out on $100,000. But it would just come down to one of the sales reps grieving about a family loss, or having health issues of their own, or just being off their game, right? And if it's a sales rep who usually closes $200,000, and this month he's super off, and he just closed $100,000, and because of that you're gonna go and change your marketing stuff, that's not a really smart decision. So you really need to look at your individual sales rep stats. And last but not least, talk to your salespeople. Maybe they have a thing or two to say about lead quality. Maybe again, sort of like going. There's actually a very good video you can watch that I made if you click on the top right about how to improve your lead quality. Sometimes lead quality can drop, and I have a video on how to fix that. But sometimes it can be that you need to listen to your sales reps. Guys, last but not the least, bonus mega tip. This is mega tip, and it's such a mega tip that I'm literally going to record a whole nother video for it, and I'll probably later, just search for it on my channel. But stop relying on front-end sales acquisition, client acquisition for your cash flow. Over time, if your business is at least 1 year old, you need to have a continuity program. You need to upsell people to continuity programs that will then serve as a financial cushion and a strong base for your business to carry your business overhead and other stuff, so that when your front-end sales acquisition doesn't work, there's still the year-long or the sales or the continuity sales to back it up, so that you're not losing money. This will give you great peace of mind. If you are making $500,000 in front-end sales, or even $100,000 in front-end sales, But if you have like if you've been good upselling all these people and you have another 50K coming in year-long sales every month, yeah, in monthly installments, and some month your business doesn't go well, right, and doesn't even generate any front-end sales whatsoever, you still have that 50 grand to break you even, or maybe even make you a bit of profit for your business, so then you don't have to go pulling your hair out doing all kinds of stupid shit to try to fix your business. So guys, that's it. Again, as always, hit the bell button, notification bell button, subscribe, give me thumbs up. Check out our websites, linked in the description down below. Check out our other videos on how to improve lead quality. Say hello to me on Facebook, Nazim Agabekov. Go join our Facebook group. I'll link that in the description down below as well. And yeah, if you want to book a consultation with us, go to our website and do that, because I just did this. If I can do this all in 27 minutes, imagine what we can do by working on an ongoing basis. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.